There's an equation making the rounds on business podcasts, in best-selling books, on conference stages. It says the square root of the people in any organization produce half of all the output. 10 employees? 3 of them do half the work. 100. 10 do. 10,000 employees and just 100 people carry half the company. It's called Price's Law. It feels true. Famous professors cite it. Consultants build slide decks on it. Managers quietly rank their teams by it. There's just one problem, and it's the reason this episode exists. Almost nobody quoting this law has ever checked it. So we did. This is the episode where the law goes under the microscope. First, the claim itself. Price's Law. As a group grows, half the output comes from the square root of its members. Notice what that implies. The square root grows far slower than the group. So as organizations scale, the productive core shrinks as a fraction, and the claimed dead weight grows without limit. It's a spectacular, terrifying idea. Stay with me, because the truth turns out to be stranger than the slogan. The real math is gentler in one way and more brutal in another. The law has a real source, and a good one. Derek de Solla Price was a historian of science at Yale, and in 1963 published a study of scientific publishing called Little Science, Big Science. Counting authorships across fields, he noticed massive concentration. A small elite of scientists wrote a huge share of the papers. As a rough summary, he suggested the square root pattern. For scientists publishing papers, in his data, it was a decent approximation. Then the equation escaped the library. It jumped from science publishing to sales teams, software firms, entire economies, places Price never measured. So watch the claim draw itself. 10 people, 3 do half. 100, 10, 10,100. Clean, elegant, quotable. And here is where this channel does what it exists to do. In 1988, an information scientist named Paul Nicholls did what the podcasts never did. He tested the square root law against dozens of real author productivity datasets. The verdict? It failed. The actual distribution follows something older and better tested. Lotka's Law. For every 100 authors with one paper, roughly 25 have 2, 11 have 3, and so on down an inverse square curve. Concentration? Absolutely real. A fixed square root formula that works everywhere? Not in the data. The direction survived the check. The equation did not. Pause here, because this matters beyond one equation. How many laws in your field are quoted like physics and checked like folklore? Now, the catch. Because the wrong takeaway is that output concentration is a myth. It isn't. Everything this series has shown you, the Pareto snowball, the Matthew effect's compounding loops, makes extreme concentration inevitable. Real studies of scientific output, sales forces, and creative industries keep finding brutal inequality, often steeper than 80-20. What failed is the tidy universal formula. And that failure carries the bigger lesson. A false precision feels more true than an honest approximation. The square root of your team does half the work spreads because it sounds like mathematics. Output is heavily concentrated and grows more so with scale, is what the evidence supports. It just doesn't fit on a slide as neatly. Never let a formula's elegance stand in for its evidence. So here's your playbook for tomorrow, and it has 3 moves. First, never staff, rank, or fire by the square root. The number is folklore, and decisions built on folklore are just superstition wearing a calculator. Second, do find your real vital few empirically. Rank contributions by results, like we did back in episode 1, because concentration itself is real. And third, the habit that powers this whole channel. When anyone quotes a law at you, in a meeting, a book, this video included, ask the question that took down Price's Law. Who checked? And on what data? And next time, a law your own brain runs on you every single day. Why $10 feels enormous at the grocery store and completely invisible at the car dealership. The oldest law in psychology, and the reason shrinkflation works. The Weber-Fechner law. Next,